Welcome back to the Taiwanology podcast. This is your host, Kwangyin from CommonWealth magazine. When people talk about global flashpoints, sometimes people think Taiwan is a flashpoint. Sometimes we're even called the most dangerous place on earth. But over the past few years, it is Gaza Strip that has garnered this dubious honor. And today we have a very special show to talk about this very difficult issue. Over the past few years, tens of thousands have been killed, many more displaced, and whole neighborhoods reduced to rubble. For those who call Gaza home, Israelis and Palestinians alike, peace is impossibly far away. Yet here in Taiwan, the threat to peace is never that far away. After decades without war, it is easy for us to relax. But the fragile cross-strait status quo is a constant reminder that peace can never be taken for granted. Some of us are very aware of that risk. Last year, Taiwanese author and former Minister of Culture Long Ying-tai asked me over dinner, why do we have war games but not peace games? So I'm very happy to see for the first time this year she has started the Taiwan Peace Fellowship. She has brought practitioners from 3 continents to Taiwan. And we're lucky to have 2 of those fellows joining me in the studio today. So first of all is Roi Silberberg. He is an Israeli political educator who has worked for nearly 2 decades at the School for Peace, the first educational institution in Israel dedicated to promoting more humane, egalitarian, and just relations between Palestinians and Jews. And we have Hazem Almassry, a Palestinian scholar now conducting postdoctoral research at Academia Sinica, which is Taiwan's leading research institute. Gaza is his home, though the place he left behind is no longer the place he can return to. Today, I want to ask them, how do they see a way forward in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and what lessons might Taiwan draw from the struggle? So first of all, thank you, gentlemen, for being in the studio today. And first, I would like to ask Hazem. So I have to say that you're the first person that I encounter who's from the area of Gaza, and the first Palestinian friend, if I may call you that. So could you describe what daily life was like growing up in Gaza?
Thank you for having me here in your podcast. Living and grow up in Gaza is contradiction, because you need to live 2 lives. The life that the occupation wants to live, and the life that your family or my family wanted me to live. The first one, they wanted me to live under hardship. We can see checkpoints everywhere, the sudden raids on homes, shooting people in the streets, closing the streets, and many things that make the people's lives so hard. And on the other side, my family and community, my people, they try to give me the highest level of protection and the warmth that everyone need to grow up without any problem. So I have these details that help me to face these details that I got from my family and community, to face the other side that the occupation imposed on me. I got from my family resilience, how to live very small details in life, how to enjoy the sea breeze, and how to enjoy the smell of hot and fresh bread, and with family gathering, and how to enjoy when the harvest of olives. All of these details help me to grow up and to be a man that could face the difficulties in life.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what were your aspirations as a young person? I understand that you went on to pursue higher studies in Korea. Why study political science and why Korea?
Some choices I made by myself, but other choices I didn't choose. Actually, my aspiration when I was a child to live like other children, to be a quiet, peaceful life, to enjoy my place and the games that I have. But when you live under occupation, we don't have even these basic facilities that make you to have this life, like parks. We didn't have any park to play in or playgrounds.
So where did you play?
In my home garden. We had garden. Had to get used to. We had a garden, and we had also farms, 2 farms. My father planted these farms with his hands, and we enjoyed these. We played in these, but. To be honest, not everyone in Gaza has this ability to provide these facilities. And when I saw the life getting harder and harder with the time under the Israeli occupation and then under the Israeli siege and the blockade, I wanted to try the life in other places outside Gaza.
Right.
Why not? And I was interested in politics because politics always influenced our life. I want to study it. I want to understand it. We like a political analysts when we were children.
Mm-hmm.
We knew the news not only about Palestine. We heard the news even from other countries, like in Bosnia, in Zaire, at that time, now it is Congo, in Rwanda. So we knew the other nation in news, even if they are far from us. So it brought my interest to study politics. And the chance I got in South Korea was really good because they announced a scholarship to study there, and I applied and I got it. So I did my master there.
And was there a plan to return to Gaza after that study, or?
Yeah, sure. After I finished my study in South Korea, I returned to Gaza. And I spent more than 3 years there after. But with the Israeli frequent attack and getting married, my wife is Palestinian Algerian. She was born and grew up in Algeria, and I had a little daughter. During an Israeli attack in 2014, the Algerian embassy in Egypt helped the Algerian people and their families to leave, to evacuate from Gaza. And I left in 2014 Gaza to Algeria and stayed there for 1.5 years until I came to Taiwan.
Right. So Algeria, but then why come to Taiwan then, which is also a place that has potential for conflict?
My plan is to pursue my PhD. I applied in other countries. To be honest, Taiwan was my plan B. Plan A to study in Australia, and I applied and I got a scholarship, admission and scholarship from very prestigious university in Australia. But when I applied for visa in Australian embassy in Tel Aviv, they rejected my visa. It was the time of an Israeli attack in 2014. And they stated in their letter of rejection that the economic and political situation in Gaza will not encourage you to return after you finish your study.
And that was a problem for them.
Again?
That was a problem.
Yeah, sure, it was a problem. Actually, it was very disappointing for me, but I didn't give up. I started to find another country. I said it's impossible to apply again in Australia. Since they rejected me once, they will not accept me. At least I need to wait 5 years. And I cannot wait 5 years without pursuing my dream PhD.
Mhm.
So I applied in Taiwan and I got admission and a scholarship at International Jiaotong University in Hsinchu,
Mhm.
and I finished it. And now I'm working.
Right. So you have lived in Taiwan for 9 years.
Yes, or more.
Okay. Well, we're very happy to have you here.
Thanks.
And so now you work at Academia Sinica, and what is your study?
I work in a project about the hydrogen policy or diplomacy of the EU.
Hydrogen.
Yes,
Okay.
and I focus their partnership with the Middle East countries.
I see.
So it's a broader project,
Right.
but I focus on the MENA area.
Okay, so I'll talk to you more about that.
Sure.
And now I would like to turn to Roi. So I understand that this is your first time in Taiwan.
Yes, it's my first time in Taiwan. I was very happy to come, to join this fellowship and to learn about Taiwan and try to figure out what I can take home and what things I can learn which will be relevant for my own context and work.
Mm-hmm. I understand that you have worked for an organization called the School for Peace for nearly 2 decades. But before that, I would ask you the same question. What was it like growing up in Israel, where you're from?
It was quite privileged, quite pleasant childhood. I come from like a normal family, which is like holds Zionist ideology, and I never met Palestinians until I was in university. And Israel society is very militarized, and the wars and fighting are normalized.
Mm-hmm. Which means what? You go to school and you will see soldiers with rifles patrolling the street and arresting people, or?
No, not patrolling the streets and arresting people. It is kind of part of society. You see people who are soldiers and they are not patrolling the streets. They go shopping normally.
Oh, I see. And in their uniforms.
In their uniform with their weapons.
Right. I see.
It's quite a common
in a supermarket.
Sight. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. In a supermarket, on the beach, everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right. And why did you join School for Peace?
I had the opportunity to participate in a dialogue activity of the School for Peace while I was studying for a master's in biochemistry. And I took this course in university. And in the beginning, they told me, there is no place for you. You come from the life science faculty, and there are too many Jews in this course, and we need an equal number of Jews and Palestinians, and there is no room for you. And I told them, no, I'm very interested. It is very important for me. And they said, okay, so bring a Palestinian friend. So I went back to my faculty and started going between the laboratories. And someone told me, yes, there is a PhD student in the 7th floor, and she's a Palestinian. And I asked her, and she was very interested. And actually, we participated, and it changed my life. After that, I took a facilitator's course in the School for Peace and started working as a facilitator for youth groups that are meeting and talking and doing dialogue. And 15 years later, I became the director of the School for Peace. And also, the School for Peace is a part of a shared community. It's called Wahat al-Salam Neve Shalom. It's a shared village between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. And I moved there with my family. And my daughters go to a bilingual kindergarten. And my big daughter, Tamara, started first grade 2 weeks ago in the bilingual elementary school in the village.
Mm-hmm. Right. So at the time when you joined the activities of School for Peace and you were still a bioscience student, how did your parents or your siblings feel about that?
I get a lot of credit in my family, and for being a very responsible person that's trying to look at the big picture. And it was really, I explained myself, and now also my sister started participating in School for Peace activities, and my mother wants to participate. It took some years, but basically, okay, also the political situation changed dramatically. But people around me usually understand that there is a deep problem.
Right.
And maybe they don't agree with how I see things, but me acting in a different way highlights the fact that regular society is trying to ignore this
Right.
huge issue.
What is this huge issue you're talking about?
I think we should differentiate between before October 7th and after October 7th.
Right.
Before October 7th, we were after many, many years of normalization of this issue. It was a long period of oppression and violence toward Palestinians, while in Israeli society, life went on normally and also economically flourishing.
Very much so, yeah.
But basically without feeling the oppression that your society is doing and the violence that your society is inflicting.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire structure of the state was built towards this goal, to manage to keep oppression in Gaza, in the West Bank, and elsewhere, and things in control, while keeping the economy, keeping the society running as usual.
Right.
And after October 7th, it changed. People feel the war, they feel the efforts that Israel is putting on its surroundings. What they think about it or how they want to address it could be different opinions. But at least in these 2 years, people feel it in their normal life.
And they're not happy about it. They don't think it's normal anymore.
They don't think it's normal anymore. They may think that Israel forever would be in this non-normal situation, and the politicians are saying where ahead of us are decades of fighting, or it could be that they think, oh, now it's like that, we will manage to bring it to how it used to be.
Mm-hmm. We'll go back to the good old days.
Exactly. In which we are in control, but we don't feel the efforts that we put in order to stay in control.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think these are the two prevalent opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the big lesson from October 7th is that the Israeli people would never live in security while the others are almost not living.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that the only way there will be normal life is by having normal life for everyone. And this opinion, for now, at this moment, is not so prevalent.
But would you say it's growing in the past 2 years, this opinion?
Sadly, no.
Still no. Okay. Right. And so when you said October 7th, you referred to the abduction that happened on October 7th 2 years ago. So we're almost going to observe 2-year anniversary of that event. So before October 7th, when you tried to talk to Israelis about your point of view, about the importance of having normal life for not just the Israelis, but also the Palestinians, what was the reaction you got from the people you talked to?
It usually was that it's not so important.
Why would they think it's not important?
They would think it's not important because it was not so present in their mind. It was not so present in their life. What we did before October 7th, we put a lot, even people come to our activities, we put a lot of efforts for both Jews and Palestinians to raise to the awareness how fundamental this issue is to our lives. Because we all have the instinct of normalization. We all want to have a family.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to have a private life. We all want to have relationships, and we all want many things.
Mm-hmm.
And being aware and being focused on this fundamental issue takes your mind out of the things that you want. And we used to do a lot of work on this, on raising the awareness, on talking, making dialogue about this,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
exposing the fact that everything you want to do, your family, your work, your whatever, your studies, are all influenced from the relationship between Jews and Palestinians in this region.
Right.
And today it's different. Today it is more clear that this thing is very influential.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we're putting our emphasis on what we should do about that.
Right. I think it's a good opportunity to maybe to talk about your work at School for Peace. How do you conduct dialogues between different sides, people with different opinions?
Okay, I think maybe the first thing is that we don't focus on the different opinions. It is not a political discussion of opinions, of facts, of...
It's not a debate.
Exactly, it's not a debate. It's a dialogue of identities. Okay. It's a dialogue of identities. Still, within the different identities, there are different opinions, and they are discussed.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is to see how the other sees reality.
Right.
And first of all, there is a lot of preparation needed, and talking to the people who come, convincing them to come, and also preparing them for the activity. And then maybe the most important thing, especially these days, is establishing a safe space.
It's safe to say your opinions.
Again, if we're not on the opinions, it means that it is safe to expose who you are.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It is safe to expose who you are, and it is safe to be open to the other. Okay, because in our society, we feel that it's dangerous to be open to the other.
Yes.
So establishing this, maybe it's the second thing. And maybe the third thing I would mention is how to garner and how to develop responsibility. The idea and the feeling that what you do matters. That how you react in this historical moment means something. Even if you cannot stop the war, maybe. Or, I don't know, even if it's not as you wish it to be, it has a meaning.
So it's every small action matters. I guess it's a sense of agency, you could call it. Right. So, well, thank you, Roy. We're going to take a short break here. And when we come back, we are going to talk about your trip to Kinmen Island and your observations there. Welcome back to the Taiwanology podcast. This is your host, Liu Kwangyin from Taiwan's CommonWealth magazine. In our studio today, we have Hazem Almassry. He's a postdoctoral research fellow at the Institute of European and American Studies at Academia Sinica, as well as Roi Silberberg. He is a political educator and the director of School for Peace in Israel. And I would like to go back to Hazem. So you have lived in Taiwan for 9 years. So, but I wonder how much family, you still have family back in Gaza.
Yes.
Right. And how was that like for them, especially after October 7th?
The life there is too hard to describe, not too hard for them. Actually, it is beyond our ability to describe it or to imagine it. When you live under bombardment and in a tent with lack of basic needs and basic facilities, and then add to that starvation, so it is, we cannot imagine that. I still in contact with friends and families. I think they could bear a specific level of suffering. They could bear a specific level of suffering. But when you accumulate all of these atrocities and hardship on them, I think they will reach that point to collapse. And I kept observing my friends how they act. In the beginning, they show resilience and the ability to bear all of these. Some collapse in the beginning after 1 or 2 months, and some stayed showing being tough and strong until the starvation started. All of these abilities collapsed with the starvation.
And what's the living situation like for them? You mean tents?
Tents. When I don't want to talk about very details. If you want to go to the bathroom, you need to wait in long queue just to enter the bathroom. If you want to drink water, clean water, you need to carry it from far distance to bring water and to wash your hands and your stuff. So imagine you have these details, and if you want to cook something, you need to build a fire for it. If there is something to cook, of course. So in every detail, there are a lot of difficulties you need to wait, and a lot of efforts you need to put on.
And how difficult it is to get food for them?
Now I think the situation is a little better than 2 or 3 months ago, especially after allowing the aid trucks to enter Gaza. But the most difficult time was between March of this year until July. It was really starving. And I know people if don't die from starvation, they die from malnutrition. Malnutrition, when you just eat only, for example, bread. Okay, you don't starve, but your body organs collapsed. And I have some from my family, the extended family, passed away because of the body organ failure.
Right, I see. And can you talk about what happened to your mother?
It was in December 23. We live just close to a mosque, a big mosque, and Israel systematically targeted all the mosques in the Gaza Strip. At that time, they targeted the mosque. It was in the afternoon, and my mother was in our garden, I think, taking care of some plants. They bombarded the mosque. The mosque collapsed, and the wall between our home and the mosque collapsed on her. And when my siblings went to her and found her under the wall, they found her okay speaking, and but she couldn't walk. They rushed her to the hospital. The doctor checked her, but because of the lack of medical facilities there, because Israel targeted the medical sector in Gaza Strip, and it was very difficult. Even they didn't call the ambulance because they know that it is so hard to call the ambulance. So they took her by a private car. After that, the doctor said it's okay. There is maybe a little crack in her leg. And she kept saying she is fine, don't worry, I will be okay. But after that, she started to cough with blood, and then she started to show some symptoms of difficulty of breathing. With the time, the doctor checked her again after waiting, because the check in room was so crowded and busy. They found her lungs is crashed, her lungs.
Internal
bleeding.
Yes,
internal bleeding.
Right.
And but it was too late to know that, and it died for just. She died for about 15 minutes, dying. The dying period for 15 minutes,
right.
And then
so
they
it was the same day.
On the same day.
On the
yes.
same day.
December 5th.
Oh, okay, I'm really sorry to hear that. So it's really a tragic story, and the hospital was so crowded, and because of lack of medical equipment, they couldn't really check what was happening.
Yes.
What happened to her? So right.
Because they had the priorities until now.
Right.
They had the priorities. Which one is more in crucial condition,
right.
to take him to the hospital or intensive care or whatever.
Yeah.
So when they saw her, it didn't. She didn't.
She
show.
looked fine.
She
Fine-ish.
looked fine. She didn't show
Right.
anything that risked her life.
Right. And could you go back to for her funeral?
It was not a real funeral, because a lot of people killed at that time. Usually, in funeral we have a lot of people gather and show solidarity and to comfort us. But at that time, only my siblings, not all of them, they couldn't, and just a few people were walking nearby. They took her to the cemetery and buried her.
Right.
We didn't have time even to check her personal belongings. Even they buried her with her rings.
Right. So
it was very rushed. I mean.
Yeah, it felt like in times like this, lives are just reduced to very small things and like very cheap. And I'm really sorry what happened to you, and that happened to millions of families in Gaza as well. And well, you on the other hand have lived in Taiwan for 9 years, and what has that experience been like for you?
Taiwan offered me a lot. First, I came here to study. I studied here. I got PhD. I worked here. My kids go to school. They learn Chinese. They speak. They have their friends. They even now act like Taiwanese in specific aspects. And even the food now, we customize the food to eat mixed Taiwanese and Arab food. So we have a lot here. And we have also connection with Taiwanese people. But when we talk about Gaza, Taiwanese in general, they are sympathetic. They show sympathy with anyone. But if it is individual, personal, but when I talk about my losses in the context of the Israeli brutality, here sympathy stops and suspicion begins when we talk about this topic.
Why do you think that is?
Because they think Taiwan is in the same side with the US and Israel against China, and Palestine is with the same side of China. So it is like a proxy game. So you represent not only Palestine, the side of China. Mm-hmm. So they don't look at me. It is my personal life or my case as a separate from the whole things that you are talking about. I am living under the Israeli occupation, and we suffer, and we lost our beloved ones because of this one. I don't know why you insist to be their partner of their crime. This is the problem. Mm-hmm. They insist to do that by justifying or showing indifference.
Right. Like your trauma is politicized.
Yes, politicize everything. Even they use faulty reading of reality or distorted reality. They don't take it as it is now. They take the narrative from the Israeli officials. They don't listen to us if we don't say the reality or the truth. You can refer to the international organizations. UN, they said UN is out of being honest. You can go, for example, to very reputable organizations like Human Rights, Amnesty International. All of these, they don't listen. They just listen to the Israeli officials and the White House spokesperson, who just turned to be echo of the Israeli government.
Right. Yeah. It looks like U.S. is a very strong ally of Israel still. Mm. And let me ask Roi, because before the break we talked about your trip to Kinmen. It was a 3-day trip, and it sounds like it's a very interesting trip. What was your observation there? I understand that it was also your first time in Kinmen.
I felt it's first of all, a very interesting story. I felt they have a meaningful history, and that it's not talked enough. It's not discussed enough, not by them and not by Taiwanese.
Right. I feel like I have to fill in the blank here, because for the listeners who don't understand Kinmen is an outlying island that's under Taiwan's jurisdiction, but is very close to China. I think that the closest point you could even see Xiamen City. It's next to Fujian. So Kinmen has always been described as the front line. So that's why you went to Kinmen. So yeah, please continue.
No, but it shows the fact that you are explaining it. It shows that it's not so common in society to mention it, to discuss it, to understand who lives in Kinmen. That they are Taiwanese, are they Chinese, what is the identity? How do we treat them? And there is a feeling there that the people, that they are forgotten in a way, or that they are left behind. I don't know how to say it.
So they felt neglected, or they're not looked at or considered individuals that have agencies, they're like reduced. And there's something that Hazem mentioned before the break, that there's a feeling that Kinmen people have that they're expected to be battle ready, like militarized, because Kinmen is the front line and they have to be ready all the time. How do you think they feel about that expectation?
How would anyone feel? It's not like, how would you feel if you're expected to be
Unfair.
ready?
I would feel unfair. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is also how Israeli right politicians expect Israelis to be, like a modern Sparta.
Right. I think sometimes it is also how some of us feel in Taiwan, because there are many media outlets that refer to Taiwan as the most dangerous place on earth, and we're feeling like, why do we have to bear this burden? Why can't we live in peace? And I think it's a good time for us to turn to the subject of your fellowship, which is peace. Right? And what do you think the reactions from the Kinmen people and your observation here? How would you think that a peace can be facilitated and can be communicated with Taiwanese people? So, Roy.
I feel peace does not need to be facilitated or communicated to to Taiwanese people. I feel Taiwanese people are responsible enough and they are strong enough to discuss it, to put it on the table, and okay, maybe we cannot have peace now, maybe, I don't know, the objective reality, it exists, but ignoring it is not the way. It's hard to bear the fact that maybe this is the most dangerous place in the world, but ignoring it is not the answer. Talking about it, talking about what it means for us, what it means for who we want to be, for what we want to happen here, what we want to become. And then peace would be a part of it. But maybe first would be figuring out who we are.
Right, it's a good reminder. And there's one quote from a letter to your graduates that you sent, I think, just a bit after October 7th. And in letter, you said that in Israel, we are being asked to return to normal life, but we refuse to accept such a normal life, one built on genocide, ethnic cleansing, occupation, repression, and the abandonment of citizens. Why did you decide to use the strong word a genocide, and what response did you get from that letter?
I know that we decided to use the word genocide after a long discussion, and it was not right after October 7th. It took us, I think, a year to realize the reality, if I remember correctly, but we can check.
Right.
Anyhow, the choice of the word is not according to legal description of genocide and the human rights whatever definitions. You know, Bibi Netanyahu is being taken to court, or not taken, but like accused in international courts for genocide. So this is maybe we will find out. The choice of the word has two, I can say, objectives, or two meanings within this word and the other words that we are using. It's, first of all, that this needs to stop. Many bad things needs to stop, but if I use these strong words, it means that everybody should do something in order for it to stop. I'm not just saying it is bad. I am calling for people to help. This is one thing. And the second thing, using such words, it means it doesn't stop when it stops. It means that for these things, accountability is in order. That we would need to check, how could this happen? Who was to blame? Who didn't do enough? And I know I would check myself. Did I do enough? For sure now I'm trying to do enough. But I know there would be a moment of reckoning that people would check me and I would check myself. It is the responsible thing to do. And I don't know. Am I doing enough? Are you doing enough?
So we should all ask ourselves, are we all doing enough? Right. And, you know, if we go back to the dialogues that, Roi, you do back in Israel between Palestinians and Israelis, what was the hardest part in facilitating the dialogues?
I will tell you something. The hardest parts are the best parts. Why? Because people come in order to go through a process which would be painful, and they come in some idea in their mind that they will meet the other and they will change, or the other will change, or there will be something happening. So there could be many hard situations, but they are the good situations. If people are in disagreement, if people see the other as very bad, this is like an important part of dialogue. But for people who organize and people who are responsible for these activities, it used to be the hardest part to bring people, to commit to a process, things like that. And now, in this historic moment, the hardest part is to encourage people that they mean something. Because they go through the process, and we have people that think it's very important to be a part of it. You know, I told you before that it's only the minority that think that the only way we could live normally is if we live together and we find an agreement and we find a way to live together. So these people, although they're a small group, they find it that it's very important and critical that they would come to meet the other, that they would participate in such things. So it's much easier now to find people to participate. But they come, and what they see is not that we get hope, I meet the other, we become strong together, and all that. They come and they meet the other, and they see how reality is so bad. And it's very hard to give the feeling that we mean something together. And this is, for now, in this moment in history, that I read that last night, Gaza City, parts of it were attacked, and people are fleeing. It is very hard to sit and talk and feel, we will, we mean something in this moment.
Right.
But we do.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that we could all do in this?
first of all is to talk. First of all is to talk. To talk between ourselves and to address reality. And second of all is to talk louder. Okay, then there are actions and things on the ground and things like this. But first talk, figure it out, and then talk louder so people will hear you.
Right. So I think this Peace Fellowship is trying to do something like that. And before we wrap up, I would like to ask if Hazem, what's your impression of Roi's work, and is there anything you would like to, any feedback you would like to give him?
I have no feedback because he's doing great work. But unfortunately, and as he said by himself that he confessed that he's feeling alone. People like Roi are not many in Israel. So this is the most difficult part when you work and you don't feel you have a result for your work. You try to convince the people for dialogue, to understand the others, and to deal with them fairly. They are basic requests when you deal with others. Mm-hmm. So when you feel that your voice is not heard, it's too difficult. But we have no choice, and he has no choice except keep working, and no matter the result. Maybe in the future, his children will continue his work. Maybe they will get in the future better result.
Right. And Roi, is there anything you would like to say to Hazem?
That maybe the main feeling I'm feeling this moment is sadness. It's very sad. And I'm not alone. And I'm with you. And you're not alone. And maybe we are weak in this moment. But this is what we have right now.
Yeah. And it's okay to be weak sometimes.
It's hard.
So to wrap this up, is there anything you would like to say to our audience in Taiwan about, well, this is a peace fellowship after all?
Stay honest. Try to figure out who you are and act by who you are, not by expectations, international politics, or whatever. It's hard.
It is. So I had to thank both of you for coming to the studio today. It's been a very important but difficult conversation. So, well, thank you again.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Right. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review or drop us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And please visit the CommonWealth English website for more deep dives on all things Taiwan. The next episode will be available October 28th. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in to Taiwanology, and see you next time. Thank you, Roi, and thank you, Hazem.
Thank you so much.